Joe Burrow is making progress. Yes, that's right, progress. The latest on his status and his quest to play on Monday Night Football against the Rams. A Friday practice update and more right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure you check out our latest video on Reed Sinnett, the Bengals' newest quarterback, with Will Grier departing town. We have a ton from Joe Burrow and what he had to say yesterday to Reed Sinnett. But before we get to, in our next video, will likely be our Monday night preview. That's coming to you this weekend as the Bengals in prime time. We wait for more info on Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow made progress today. And if I was to give a timeline, if you would have reached out to me on Monday and said, paint the picture for Joe Burrow to return to not only practice, but be on the field Monday night against the Rams. So it was a week out. And I would have said, well, rest and treatment Tuesday, Wednesday, naturally. Bengals practice Thursday, goes through the walkthrough and install, but doesn't necessarily have to participate, and is back at practice Friday, which is the really heavy day, and then practices again on Saturday, which is more of a lighter walkthrough, and that's it. So Joe Burrow's on track, at least from my eyes. If I was painting the path to him playing on Monday, the fact that he was out there today, he threw today, he did individual drills in front of the media, which is something he did not do on Thursday. And part of why he had hope, and he said this to me yesterday, a reason for hope is the extra day, how beneficial, how advantageous it is for him. He got an extra day of rest. Now he's slowly ramping up. And I think I was pretty convinced of this yesterday. I think he's pushing to play. Like, I think that in his mind, when I decipher and read the tea leaves of what he said on Thursday, he's going to push to play, and he's going to view this as a week to week thing in his mind. All right, let me get my body ready for Monday night. And then after Monday, in his mind, he gets a win on Monday. Let me get my body ready for Nashville and playing Tennessee next week. And it's a quick turnaround. I think it's interesting, this entire balance of things. And one thing that stood out today, and I did not make it to practice, full disclosure, but from Mike Pachalia, Paul Dehner Jr., I know WCPO, and you're about to see a clip from Caleb. No, one thing that stood out to me today, and practice is open for a half hour. And so you get to see stretching and individual drills. And one thing that Trags noted, by the way, before I get to Mike Brown and how he's relevant in all this, Mike Pachalia, Trags, he noted that Joe Burrow talked with Zach Taylor at the end of the open media portion of practice, right when the team periods were starting, had his helmet on. I think that's interesting. Ultimately, Joe Burrow is going to be a limited participant on Friday, but that's the path. Now, the other thing that's interesting that a lot of people I think have talked about, have mentioned, is the fact that Burrow got picked up during stretching, and this courtesy of Caleb No, WCPO, picked up while he stretched. And Mike Brown just took him around in a circle and wanted to chat with Joe. And Joe makes a face as he gets, like, for a second or two before he gets off the cart, reacting to Mike Brown and as he's getting up. And I think that part's interesting, and we're going to read too much into it. What if I had to guess, and this is purely a guess, obviously, they didn't have Mike Brown mic'd up, which is, well, maybe they did. That'd be a really cool thing for the Bengals Insider Show. That said, I think this was a be smart about this. Don't try to be the hero. I don't think he was shutting him down, or I don't think he was giving him bad news. I think he was saying, be smart about it. And that's what Joe was doing. He nodded at Joe and he said something, and Joe said the same thing. I don't think that this was you're not playing on Monday. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's exactly what he said in front of the whole team, in front of cameras. He's got a nice office at Paycor Stadium that he could call Joe Burrow up to. He could go down to the locker room. Mike Brown obviously has access to the Bengals locker room. He could go that route too, and go to the quarterback's meeting room. I mean, there's plenty of places where he could meet Joe. So I don't want to go that far. What I do think, though, is that Joe Burrow, if there was a path for him to play on Sunday or on Monday, excuse me, this is it. Not sure if he's going to. I think he's really pushing to play. In his mind, he's going to play, and it will be really, really interesting to see if he does. I had one person mention to me, oh, well, he could just be the emergency backup and you could have Jake Browning start because during individual drills, Jake Browning led and Burrow was behind him. I don't think the Bengals would do that. If you're healthy enough to play, you're healthy enough to play. And I do get the logic, especially with Reed Sinnett just signing with the team today. I expect Reed Sinnett to be active. And on the active roster, the 48-man active roster, I expect Jake Browning to. Will Joe Burrow? That's the question. Today was a step in the right direction. We will continue to follow this on Saturday, whether he gets ruled out, whether he becomes a game time decision. We have you covered here on CBT. So please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and Joe Burrow making progress. We will have more for you when it breaks, when we have it right here. So for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.